Hello everybody and welcome. This is Gilgamesh. Today we're exploring the intersection of archaeology and the Hebrew Bible, looking at historical figures mentioned in the Hebrew Bible who also appear in non-biblical sources. There are over 50 such figures, but we will focus on a top 10 list because a top 50 list would just be too long. We're going to be examining both the biblical and archaeological evidence for each one. Most of this information is taken from the writings of Lawrence J. McKitiook, and I apologize, I don't think I'm saying that name correctly. He is a PhD holder in Hebrew and Semitic studies. He is an American scholar and a professor emeritus of the Hebrew Bible at Purdue University, and was a scholar in residence at Temple Shalom in Chicago. He has published many periodicals in everything from the Times of Israel to Biblical Archaeological Review, and his work has been positively reviewed by many other scholars. I've really appreciated what he's put together with this, and if you want a more extensive list of the people that he has found evidence for outside of the Hebrew Bible, and it's quite an impressive list, you can find it in some of his published works, including his dissertation, as well as some of his articles in Biblical Archaeological Review. But let's get started here with a numbered list. Number 10, Mesha, king of Moab. Mesha is a 9th century king of Moab. He is mentioned in the book of 2 Kings, chapters 3, verses 4 through 27. The Bible describes him as a sheep breeder who paid a large tribute to the king of Israel. The Mesha inscription, which is a stone slab discovered in 1868, corroborates his existence. I have a whole video on this slab, and it's a very exciting story of its discovery and its preservation. In this inscription, Mesha himself recounts his rebellion against Israel and his victories, offering a Moabite perspective of the events that occurred. Number 9, Shebna, the palace overseer. Shebna is a royal steward and is mentioned in the book of Isaiah, chapter 22, verses 15 through 19. I do, of course, have a video on that, as I do with just about everything in Isaiah. There is an inscription that is found at the entrance to a rock-cut tomb in Silwan near Jerusalem. It is thought to possibly be his. While the complete name is not present, the title Overseer of the Palace is, making this a plausible though not definitive identification. His is perhaps the weakest on this list, but it is quite an interesting one, as Isaiah particularly calls out his tomb as a bit of a problem, and maybe we have found that tomb. Number 8, Omri, king of Israel. Omri, who reigned in the 9th century BCE, is mentioned in 1 Kings chapter 16. He was a significant ruler who founded a dynasty. The Assyrian inscriptions and the Mesha inscription both refer to him. The Assyrians even refer to later Israelite kings as being from the house of Omri, and the land itself as the house of Omri. This indicates the importance of his reign probably beyond what is recorded in the Hebrew Bible, and may have been seen as the primary royal house of the northern kingdom would be his royal house, similar to how the house of David was in the southern kingdom. Number 7, Ahab, the king of Israel. Ahab was Omri's son. He is a prominent figure in 1 Kings chapters 16 through 22. He is often put as the opposition, along with his wife Jezebel, to the prophet Elijah. The Kirk monolith, which is an Assyrian inscription of Shalmaneser III, mentions Ahab the Israelite in its account of the Battle of Karkar in 853 BCE. This provides external evidence of his reign and his military activities. Number 6, Jehu, king of Israel. Jehu is mentioned in the Bible in 1 Kings chapter 19 throughout 2 Kings. He is also referenced in inscriptions of the Assyrian king Shalmaneser III. The famous black obelisk of Shalmaneser III depicts Jehu, or his representative, bowing and bringing tribute, and refers to him as Jehu, son of Omri, a term indicating his succession in that royal house rather than being a direct son of Omri. Omri was his lineage, or his claim to the throne. And so we have Omri showing up in Assyrian Chronicles as well. Number 5, Manasseh, king of Judah. Manasseh's long reign is detailed in 2 Kings chapter 21. He is often considered the most wicked king ever to have ruled over the kingdom of Judah. He is also mentioned in the inscriptions of the Assyrian kings Esarhaddon and Ashurbanipal. These inscriptions list Manasseh, king of Judah, as one of the rulers who paid tribute to Assyria, confirming his status as a vassal king. He is noted in the Hebrew Bible for bringing in many Assyrian cultural practices and religious practices into Judah, which is part of why he was seen as so particularly wicked. Number 4, David, king of Judah and Israel. King David, whose story begins in 1 Samuel chapter 16, is one of the most well-known biblical figures. For a long time, there was no archaeological evidence of his existence. However, the Tel Dan stele, a 9th century BCE Aramaic inscription, was discovered in 1993. That wasn't that long ago. I was in college when this happened. In that inscription, it refers to the House of David. And to everyone's excitement, this was the first extra-biblical mention of the Judean dynasty that has ever been found, showing that David was a real person, a real lineage, a real house, and a real kingdom, something that had been seriously questioned before that. Now, there is also the Mesha stele as well, whose inscription also may contain a reference to the House of David, though that specific portion of the stone is damaged. And so before discovering the Tel Dan stele, the idea that it referenced the House of David was heavily questioned because there was no supporting evidence for the term House of David outside of the Bible, and so some scholars felt that was wishful thinking to try and see that in the Mesha stele. But since 1993, with the Tel Dan stele, that has changed quite a bit, and now is generally accepted, both because of the discovery of the Tel Dan stele and because of more advanced imaging techniques that have since confirmed the reading of that inscription. It is generally accepted that the Mesha stele also references the House of David. And now a third witness may also be available with an Egyptian inscription that might refer to the Heights of David in the Negev region. So evidence continues to grow for the existence of this very important biblical figure. Number 3, Balaam, son of Beor. Balaam was a non-Israelite prophet, and he is featured in the book of Numbers in chapters 22 through 24. There is a fascinating discovery at Tel Deir Allah in Jordan that has unearthed a wall inscription from around 700 BCE that mentions Balaam, son of Beor. Well, this inscription is from a later period than when Balaam is depicted to have lived. Many scholars, well, I think pretty much all scholars, believe it refers to the same individual that is mentioned in the book of Numbers. The question is, was this a real individual, or was this a shared folk tradition? Does it indicate a real individual living in the approximate time that the book of Numbers says, or does this individual fit more around the 7th century BCE? These are still all open questions, but the idea that the man who talked to his donkey actually was a thing that was known outside of the house of Israel has now been confirmed. And I actually have a video on this entire situation where I go into this in some depth if you'd like to learn more about that. But yes, it appears that Balaam is known outside of the Hebrew Bible. Number 2, Hezekiah, king of Judah. Hezekiah's reign is the major focus of 2 Kings chapters 18 through 20. He also features prominently in the book of Isaiah. His resistance against the Assyrian king Sennacherib is detailed in both the Bible and in the Assyrian records like the Rassam cylinder. In these inscriptions, Sennacherib refers to Hezekiah the Judahite, who he sealed up like a bird in a cage, but he was not able to conquer. Additionally, a bulla, a seal impression, bearing the inscription belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah, has been discovered in Jerusalem as recently as 2009. This is the first seal impression of a Hebrew king that has been found in a scientific excavation. It's a very big deal. It was found at the south end of the Temple Mount. Which brings us to number 1, Isaiah the prophet. Isaiah the prophet is mentioned in 2 Kings chapter 19, and the book of Isaiah is attributed to him. In 2018, a bulla was found in Jerusalem, just a few feet from where the Hezekiah bulla was found at the south end of the Temple Mount, with the name Isaiah on it. The bulla is broken, and the word following the name is missing its last letter, but it appears to be the word prophet. Therefore, it is extremely strong that this bulla refers to Isaiah the prophet and would have been his personal seal. Although I will say there are some who are proposing alternative theories, including that the word prophet might have been part of a proper name. It seems, though, likely, given Isaiah's access to the royal courts in the writings about Isaiah, as well as the location of this bulla in situ, that it seems very likely that this is the seal of Isaiah the prophet. And if that is so, then this is the first of any Hebrew prophet that we have found extra-biblical evidence of their existence. And so it's very exciting. I would also point out how recent some of these discoveries have been. And since I wrote the script for this video, there has been yet another large discovery at the south end of the Temple Mount with a small piece of cuneiform fragment that has been discovered talking about the Judahite king not paying their tribute to Assyria. This is a very new find that's just been published in the last few days, but it would establish a correspondence between the monarchy in Judah and Assyria over the issue of their vassal status. It probably happened in either the reign of Manasseh or Josiah, but it is yet further evidence of the existence of these people, although it does not contain the proper name of any king on it that we've seen so far. It's exciting. These things are still being found, and they're still quite significant. If you'd like to learn more about them, I do regular videos on archaeology and the Hebrew Bible. A lot of my videos are taking the text of the Hebrew Bible and going through the various grammatical and historical aspects of it. If you find interest in any of that, please come join us. If you have questions about it, hop on our Discord and meet some great people there that will enjoy talking about these topics. In the meanwhile, please like and subscribe and share this video with your friends if you find it interesting, and I'll see you in the next one.